Hello everyone, this is The Story of Silk, taken from the book Grandma's Bag of Stories, written by Sudha Murthy. No sooner had the children gotten over their excitement of the visit to Rehmat Chacha's house than Ajji sprung another surprise. There was a wedding in the village. Having attended some village weddings earlier, the children know what to expect. Here it was not like the city where you went a certain time period on the card, gave you a present, ate, and come back. In the village, everyone has been invited, whether your name was on a card or not. And not only were you expected to come as early as possible, you were also expected to pitch in and help the host. So Dam was seen rushing off in the jeep to pick up guests from the railway station. Rahmat Chacha was in charge of providing fresh vegetables from this farm. Ajji was heading a group of women into the kitchen and telling them what to do. Ajju was supervising the cleanliness and had stocked up on a big bottles of phenyl and other cleansers. And Vishnu Kaka was dressed in his best, most spotted dhoti and kurtas and was looking after the guests. Ajju told the children to wear their nicest clothes and come to the venue. Krishna, always careful of the way she looked, wore her pretty blue silk frock. Ajji noticed and said, Krishna, remember to be careful. There will be a lot of people and food there. Don't get your clothes dirty. Krishna promised to be careful. Soon Ajji disappeared into the kitchen, which was lined with people chopping and stirring and cooking. Outside, guests were pouring in, and Vishnu Kaka was making sure everything was served breakfast. Ajji was seen hurrying about with a bottle of phenyl in his hand. Rahmat Chacha was taking care of the flower decorations while Perambi Chachi was stringing pile of gardens. Children were playing all over the places. Film songs played on the mic, and there was a happy chaos everywhere. After the wedding, during the lunchtime, while eating sweet pancakes of chiroti with badam milk, someone jostled Krishna and a big puddle of milk fell on her dress. She was a grief stricken. Ajji consoled her. Don't cry. Silk can be washed and made to look just like new. This is the wonderful thing about things. Seeing Krishna's tear-stained face, she said, Today, when we go to home, I will tell you the story of how silk was made for the first time. That made Krishna happy. That night, though Aju was tired, she still told the children the story of silk. The story begins. Do you know that silk was discovered in China a long time ago? In a tiny village in China, there lived a poor girl belonging to a weaver's family. One day, the emperor was passing through the village and saw her working in the fields. He noticed her red cheeks and rosebud like mouth, her proud bearing, and her rough, work worn hands, which means she worked very hard through the year. He immediately fell in love with her and thought he was much older, decided to marry her. The girl married the ruler of the land and went to live in his place as his beloved queen. But she was unhappy. She had grown up in the wide open spaces of the countryside and now she was confined to a place magnified thought it was. She was used to working from dawn to night without a moment's rest. But now she had many servants to take care of her needs and did not know how to fill her time. In the village, she had been surrounded by family and friends who exchanged news and gossips as they worked, but in the place it was quiet and no one spoke out of turn. The emperor noticed his new wife was sad and tried his best to make her happy. He bought her grand clothes, jewels, artifacts, threw elaborate parties, hired the best musicians of the land to amuse her, yet she was sad. One afternoon, the empress sat under a mulberry bush in her garden, lost in her thoughts about her village. She slowly sipped hot water from the cup. Starting up at the sky, the girl remembered the birds that flew over her village. Then, slightly soft to herself, she picked up her cup to take another sip. But what was this? A cocoon from the mulberry bush has dropped into the hot water. Her first thought was to throw away the water and the coconut, but then she took a closer look and she saw some threads peeping out from the cocoon. Where had they come from? She pulled the threads. They were thin, strong, and shiny. She kept pulling. A long line of thread came out. Now the empress has a great idea. She would take the thread from many cocoons and weave it strong cloths from it. She called her servants and everyone go to work. They took cocoons out of the mulberry tree, dropped them in hot water, removed the thread. They gathered a fair amount of yarn. Then the queen ordered a special weaving machine and wove the first piece of cloth using this new thread. The silk, the best, brightest form of cloth, was weaved. The manufacture of silk spread throughout India. It was the cloth that only royalty could wear and was much in demand in lands as far as away from Rome. The route through which silk was traded between China and Europe through Asia was called the Silk Route. Now that the Chinese has learned how to make silk cloth, they did not want to share the knowledge with anyone in the world. Generations of Chinese royalty were sworn never to reveal the secret to anyone. When princes got married and went away to far off lands, they were not allowed to tell anyone in their home how silk was made. Many years later, when a clever princess was leaving her house on getting married, as was the custom, her bags was searched carefully to check that she did not carry anything that would help her make silk. The princess had been weaving silk from a young age and wanted to continue to do so wherever she wants. She has hidden the cocoons in her long, elaborate hairdo. No one thought of looking there. When she went to her husband's house, she took out their cocoons from her hair and started gathering silk thread. In this way, legend goes the knowledge of how to make silk left China.